What's going on, everybody? All right, so today we need to talk about this whole thing that everybody's talking about with Hasbro and them not financing any more Transformers live action films. This is something very critical, very important, and at the same time, something very concerning. As always, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. What up, Sean? I see you. Appreciate you for watching and all that good stuff. Let me know if you hear me good before we get into it. Just want to do a quick mic check and stuff. What's up, Daniel? I see you. Thanks for watching, everybody, for tuning in and all that good stuff. So today we're going to talk about just Transformers. That's the main topic I want to talk about, just because this is very interesting on what's been coming out and stuff like that. So just let me know quick, okay, if you hear me. Just to double check that the audio is good and stuff. So just want to make sure we're clear with that and stuff. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good day, had a good weekend, and all that good stuff. So all right, so let's get into it real quick. All right, so look, this is something important. Everybody's talking about this right now. All right, perfect. You guys can hear me. All right, this is something very important that this pretty much just dropped over the weekend. And honestly, look, I'm a Transformers fan, and everybody knows it. I stand up for Michael Bay and the Bayvers and the Bayformers and stuff like that. But this right here, let's see and call it how it is. I told everybody I told you this movie was a flop, and it's right here. It's confirmed. And all these flops that unfortunately Hasbro with Paramount Pictures and stuff they've been having, it's finally caught up to them. This is just like WB and DC, the same thing. It's crazy. We're about to talk about all that and just get into it and stuff. But look, it's saying it right there. Transformers One was not a hit. It was a flop at the box office. Following the box office disappointment of Transformers 1 and Dungeons and Dragons Den of Thieves, Hasbro has made the decision to not finance any of its IPs to make it to films. Hasbro recently sold off most of its film and TV businesses, and we've been hearing that over the summer and things like that. Now, this is just me speculating, but at the same time, seeing things of what's going on with the Transformers brand and what's been happening with Transformers, and not only with Transformers, just overall with Paramount and Hasbro. This is a situation that's just like Warner Brothers. It's not different. The problem is it's very messy, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, I collect Transformers. I don't buy all of them. I don't watch every show. I haven't seen every show just because it's too much. And the same thing with DC and all that stuff. But when it comes to the cinematic universe and the live action, Transformers has been amazing. And when Michael Bay was there, people were watching in theaters, people were going, they were spending money. Merchandise was moving and whatever you want to call it. And the thing is with the Transformers community, and I'm in it. I'm in a lot of forums and stuff like that. The thing is that it's so picky and it's so divided. All right. I'm trying to walk on eggshells without offending anybody or anything. There's a lot of G1 hardcore fans. I like G1. I love them. I love the designs and stuff like that. But look, Transformer fans, not everything needs to be G1. All right. Not everything can just stay in the G1 generation. You have to also learn to move on, but see a different point of view. When we saw with the cartoons what we got, that was dope. It was dope. Let's be real. And when we got the first Transformers movie back in 2007, everybody was surprised. Everybody was shocked. You had a few people that they didn't like it. Whatever. Let's speed time up to what we have now. Transformers One. Hasbro was milking it and making money with Michael Bay. Let's say how it is. They were making money just like WB was making money with Zack Snyder. Not everybody liked it. Not everybody was feeling it because they felt that, directors are not staying true to the source and whatnot. You don't have to stay true to the source all the time, especially when you're doing something in live action or whatever it is that the director's take has to be. When we got the first five films with Michael Bay, people were going to the theaters. I get it. The Last Night sucked. All right. I liked it, but it's not in one of my top five. I'm like, oh, I could rewatch. I'll rewatch it time to time, whatever. Because it's not Michael Bay's fault. You have to understand, you have Paramount, you have executives, you have so many people that are involved and they all want to put their input. It's the same thing like WB. You have so many people that are executives and they feel like they're the boss and they want to give their point of view. And in the end, you're not letting the director do what he has to do or she has to do. So it comes down and it just crumbles, and then it makes the director, or whoever is making the movie, look bad. And what Michael Bay did with The Last Night, you can't hold him accountable 100%. You just can't. When you look at the movie, okay, the music is good, the actors are good, the backgrounds, the everything, the characters, all that, the CG, all that is wonderful. It's amazing. It's fun. It's entertaining. The story, I can't say the same. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, but at the same time, Paramount's putting pressure because they want to make money. They want to, make another success, whatever. That's understandable. But you have to also understand, you have to let directors have the freedom to do what their original take and vision is. For example, what we got with Michael Bay, okay, that was fun. But then everything started going down, yes, at The Last Night. If they would have just let Michael Bay finish and do one film to complete that whole second trilogy, if you want to say, because we got the first three, and then we have 4, 5, and then this was supposed to be 6 leading up to Unicron, it would have been good. And then do a reboot. Do whatever you want. It doesn't have to connect after that. Boom, do whatever you want. All right. The problem with Hasbro has been the following: in their cinematic universe, it's been reboot after reboot and they don't work. Just like WB, they don't work. Sometimes reboots don't always work. And sometimes you just have to, if you want to get away from something, explain it. At least explain it, like how to continue a good, sequel, if you want to say. Just explain the highlights of what happened before and then move away. And then you can just do what you want to do with it. What we got with Bumblebee was a letdown, honestly. I loved the intro. I wish the whole film would have been like that, but of course it would have been too expensive. But if Hasbro and Paramount would have said, you know what, let's invest the money instead of paying high actors, high actresses, people that are known, let's just invest it and do better, animations, or let's just make the whole movie live action CG, if you want to say, you could use it towards that. You would have paid more money for it and stuff like that. And then what happened with Rise of the Beast? The same thing. The story sucked. Let's be real. I really didn't enjoy Rise of the Beast. I like the characters. I like the graphics. I like, all that stuff. But the acting and, the characters that they brought in, the humans, I was like, that this is even more childish. It just felt very cartoonish, if you want to say. And I'm just not feeling it. It's like, that's another thing too, that when it comes to movies, you have to have continuity with the same cast. I get it. A lot of people are like, oh well, these people are going through things. Yes, but we shouldn't be focused on that. We should just be focused on what they're doing to entertain us when it comes to these movies. And if they would have just kept all the original cast and then slowly show you how they did in, I think it was the fourth film, when they bring in Mark Wahlberg, they're starting a new reboot. All right, so that movie, when Mark Wahlberg continued with The Last Night, okay, and then do one more. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the continuity would have stayed within that trilogy or that universe what he was trying to do, and that's it. Move away from it. Bumblebee did the same thing, but now they're trying to flip the role and trying to bring in a female lead, and it just went down. And honestly, it was just a mess. It didn't perform well at the box office, which is sucks and it's sad, but it is what it is, And again, fans have had enough. The same thing like with DC and these and Warner Brothers and stuff. Fans are just exhausted right now. And the same thing with Transformers. So after all this time, a lot of fans are like, oh well, everything should be G1, no humans, and it should be animated or whatever. Okay, we finally have it. We finally have it with Transformers 1, and it didn't perform well. It didn't. It flopped, you know? And we saw recently that one of the executives, or I guess one of the producers, somebody, I know somebody was funding it, they were like, well, if the fans support Transformers 1, we'll be able to make a 2. But clearly with this right now, it's not going to happen. This is proving to you that once again, G1 didn't save the brand. And while we're on this topic, the other day somebody left a comment. I don't remember where, and they made a valid point. And I want to say and I want to repeat what they said, trying to highlight. If it wasn't for Michael Bay, because you got to remember, before Michael Bay, the franchise was just like it is now. It was sinking. It was doing bad because of G2, Generation 2. Nobody was supporting that. And that's back in the 90s. Beast Wars came out and saved the franchise again, but not as big as what Michael Bay did with the live action films. Everybody was loving it. and they were making money because you could see at the box office every time it was more and more money, and it kept going up there, up there, up there. Of course, when we get to the last night, things start to stumble and go down, but you got to hold the studio accountable for that. Now look at what has happened. Bumblebee flopped. Rise of the Beast flopped. Now Transformers One, no humans, all animated, and pretty much if you want to say G1 type of styles, not Bavers, it flopped. So what's going on? Fans are tired. It's so divided, and at the same time, Hasbro isn't really doing something to really like wow like it used to be. Okay, Paramount Pictures, of course, that's the studio. It's not that they don't know how to market these movies; they know how to market it, but it's that they're trying to please too many people in the audience. You can't please everybody. Period. As a director, as a film creator, a content creator, whatever you want to call yourself, you cannot please everybody. All right. You have to understand that. You're going to please one half, and then the other half is going to get displeased. But it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? That's just how show business, if you want to say. Dungeons and Dragons, I didn't see it because I'm just not interested in it. Probably the people that saw it, some people have said that it's good. I'm just not interested and I don't plan on watching it. But it's sad to see how Transformers 1 proves to you, it proves to everybody that not always the G1 formula, like you think, is going to save it. It works in toys, it works in merchandise, but it doesn't work in live action. And we saw that a little bit in Bumblebee. Those designs are not Baver's designs, those designs are like G1. And what happened? The movie didn't perform so well. And look at what happened with Rise of the Beast. The same thing. You have 50-50. You see some Babers designs. Of course, you can see some influence. But you also see that, that they're trying to go back to the G1, formula. It didn't work. And now we have Transformers 1 that it fully didn't work. It flopped. There's no excuses. It just flopped because a lot of people were not interested. You can't go from live action into animation. You just can't because you're going to lose me as a fan. And a lot of fans are going to be lost like that. They're not going to want to be like, you know what? We went from live action to now animation. Yeah, this is where I get off the train because I'm just not going to support it. A lot of fans felt that way, and it shows you with the box office. How come? Let's say how it is. Paramount owns Sonic, and we're about to get Sonic in a few weeks. Sonic 3. Look at what they did, and this is the same studio. They own Transformers. If Paramount could go ahead and listen to the fans and fix Sonic with the first film and give us a proper Sonic, look at where they're at right now, making money. One, two, we're going to the third film, a trilogy with no interruptions. Amazing. They took their time, they set the universe up, and they're winning. Let's say how it is. They're winning. There hasn't been no obstacle besides in the beginning that they had the ugly Sonic design. If Hasbro, the investors, and Paramount would sit and listen to what the fans really want and be like, you know what? Let's give the fans what they've been asking for. And this is what they tried to do. They tried to give us a G1 animated, no humans. It didn't work. They tried to do it with Rise of the Beast. It didn't work. And they tried to do it with Bumblebee. It didn't work. And that's without Michael Bay. You can't come here and blame Michael Bay now because 5 movies that Michael Bay did the last night, even though it flopped at the box office, it made more money than what we're getting recently. And that tells you a lot. What does that say? Like I've been telling it and saying it, restore the Bayverse. Hasbro, Paramount, you need to continue with what sells. Why do you think the Fast and the Furious saga continues to milk the Fast Saga brand? Because it doesn't make sense, but it's entertaining. In the end, it's all about entertainment. That's it. Now, if you do the same thing with Transformers and live action, go out of control, have fun, but make it entertaining, that's what you're going to get at, in the theaters. People are going to want to come out because it's a fun film. People want to go to movies to see good entertainment. I'm going to be honest with you. Transformers 1 was all right. But was it like I have to have it in my collection? No. Unfortunately, no, because it's just not for me. That's it. I'll just leave it at that. Now, do I want more Bayvers and Bayformers? Yes, because it's just something about it. Is it going to please every fan? No. and it's bound to happen. It's not going to please everybody. That's the problem now with Hasbro. Now they're in such a mess, and at the same time, keep this in mind, they're right now being sued. They're being sued by companies that are right now, like for example, like third parties that are like Ollie's and Ross and all these brands, and that they carry their merchandise, that they're overstocked with all this inventory from Star Wars that's not selling. What else? There's a bunch of merchandise that's just selling, that's not selling, and it's overstocked. And even at like liquidation prices, people are not buying it. You know why? Because that's not quality. Nobody cares about that anymore. And the problem with Hasbro is that they've been pumping all these toys and thinking, oh, well, everybody's gonna buy the Star Wars toys. No, they're in stock. I was currently at Ross today, and I saw all of these Star Wars figures, like $3.99, $5.99. Nice stuff, but I just don't care about Star Wars. I've never been a collector of Star Wars, and that tells you that if those products are not moving, these stores that are liquidators, they're going to do something about it because they've lost so much money. And of course, because of the pandemic, everybody was like milking it and stuff. Hasbro told them, hey, look, buy all this because it's going to sell once the pandemic is over and blah, blah. They sold them a lie. So now these people are taking them, to court, and they're suing Hasbro. So that's not good for them. Imagine how much money they're going to lose on that. And when you have that with what the flops are at the box office, I mean, you might as well just start selling. And this is what they're doing. We saw recently in the summer that I can't remember right now what company is the one that acquired some part of them with Hasbro, with the Paramount, because they can't afford it. So they're selling off whatever doesn't work for them. And the same thing is happening, in general with this whole industry. There's a lot of flops lately, but it's not because, like people don't go out and support it. That's one fact. But the thing is, it's just people are exhausted. It comes out to the point where it's like people are just tired of all of these movies. And I guess it's time for Hasbro, Paramount, and the Transformers brand to kind of take a back seat and just let them chill for a bit, because the same thing happened in the 90s. Once Transformers was doing kind of bad, and then G2 came out, merchandise wasn't moving, because of course this is what, like 92, 93, Power Rangers got introduced during that time. And Saban was crushing it with that whole Power Rangers. So everybody got the Power Ranger fever. And at the time, Transformers started to sink. This is why G2 didn't do so well. And then Transformers, try to do it again. Hasbro recently, within the past, I think 2 or 3 years, the Legacy line, they tried bringing out the G2 again, and that didn't work. They're all over Ross right now, like on clearance and massive. Pretty much, they're giving them away for free because people just didn't want them. I like G2. I'm trying to get some figures to add to my collection just because I like them, but majority of the fans don't like it. And the same thing with the movies that are coming out now. It's sad to see what's happening to Transformers, what's happening to Hasbro, what's happening with Paramount, but at the same time, they're not listening to their fans when it comes to the Transformers division. Now, if Hasbro and Paramount were to do the same, like what they've done and they're doing with Sonic, like, hey, look, what do the fans really want? Let's take notes and let's work on it. I could guarantee you they're going to have a better product, especially with the cinematic universe. Excuse me. Because people want to see good films. It's not people don't want movies. They do. I want more Transformers movies. But don't just give me whatever you think is best and that's going to work. No. I want good quality films. And honestly, that's what Michael Bay was giving us. I get it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody likes what Michael Bay did. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I want more of it. I want to see a proper conclusion to how Unicron, was supposed to come into play. But this is where they screw up, because you have The Last Night and then you have Rise of the Beast. So which is canon and which is the right Unicron? The one from Bayverse, or is it the one from what we got in Rise of the Beast? You see what I'm saying? It's like, why would you even touch Unicron when we already saw a tease over in The Last Night? They should have just left it and not touch it. And now they're moving away from that. And what we saw in Rise of the Beast is setting up a crossover G.I. Joe with Transformers. That's going to be a live action. That might be the last movie we might be seeing from Hasbro for a minute. Not forever, for a minute, because you have to remember this is not saying that it's ending. It's just saying that Hasbro's not going to pull money out of their pocket to fund any of these movies to make them anymore. So pretty much, if you have money, you can probably approach, Hasbro or Paramount, say, hey, look, I want to make a live action cinematic universe movie, whatever, with Transformers. They're probably going to charge a license fee for, the characters and stuff like that, so they can make money, especially the things that they've lost. And that's understandable, but that's going to be hard because not everybody has that type of money. And then it's going to fall down to the people that want to make a live action. Can I afford it? But if I afford it and it doesn't bring back my money, then what? See what I'm saying? So it's in a situation where, like, the Transformers, the brand right now, it's kind of like it's bubbling, and it's not looking good at the moment, honestly. And it's a shame. They're going to be focusing more now on cards and board games and probably the toys, so that's understandable. But at the same time, not everybody's buying that type of stuff. Kids don't play with toys anymore. Collectors are out there buying merchandise, but not everything. Especially with the prices, how expensive that they are. You can't find certain products. It's very difficult, to be a collector of Transformers. And at the same time, it's like, okay, like, there's so much space on the shelf that you can put these things on. And as we keep on getting into the future, all these things are, people just not going to buy them, honestly. And the collectors are just getting more and more modern, where they don't even go out and buy all this stuff. This is why it's at Ollie's, it's at Ross, it's at, all these companies that, they're cheaper, they're liquidation prices, and even there they're not selling. So what does that tell you? Hasbro needs to slow down with the product so they can save some money, be able to put out good films, not just anything, and continue something that people are enjoying. Transformers 1, a few fans liked it. A few fans enjoyed it. They loved it, but it wasn't enough to support and get a part 2, because this is what happens. And the same thing is happening with Warner Brothers and DC. Not enough people are supporting it for them to really give us that type of quality. And the same thing with the Transformers brand. If Hasbro and Paramount said, you know what, we're going to continue what Michael Bay gave us, and let's see what happens. I guarantee you more people are going to come out because it was fun films. Look at the Fast Saga, like I said. They make money at the box office every year or whenever they come out. And I think next year in 2025, we're supposed to get, I think, a Fast Saga 11 or something like that. So it works. It works, The same thing with Marvel. Marvel, certain things work, not everything works. DC, we know that they've been doing bad and they continue to sink and it gets worse. Now, the same thing is happening over to Paramount, to Hasbro, in this situation. And then the lawsuit that they have with merchandise not selling, I mean, it's all come back. It's literally caught up to them, And you see videos on YouTube. You see people going to stores and they're like, "Look at all this overstock product," and that's the same thing that I've been showing you. If you see my, my shorts that you see with DC, with James Gunn, all his products sit on clearance and they're still sitting there till this day. It's been like 2 or 3 years that the Suicide Squad came out, and that product doesn't move. And the same thing with these Transformers. Some things just don't move. What Paramount needs to do, if Paramount or anybody from Hasbro is listening, don't put out so many figures of one line. Look, as a collector for Transformers, I don't have one, not even one character from Transformers 1. Why? Because the designs look childish, the characters look silly, and it's just not for me. As an adult collector, if you want to say, this is not for me. And even like that, like, I was at Walmart earlier and I saw how these products are overstocked. and they're not even selling on clearance. They're not selling because a lot of people don't like them. They just don't like them. Now, when you put out products from Michael Bay, and as we see in 2025 that they're coming out, and I've put videos on them, studio series. Not only them, you have Takara Tomy, that they come out with these expensive figures, and they're from Michael Bay, from the Bayverse, and they sell out. They sell out. They sell out like hot bread. How come those sell out? Because it's quality. They're amazing. Fans still love those designs. And look at how long it's been that we've gotten a Michael Bay film. So they sell. It's the same thing like with Zack Snyder over at WB. It sells, you know? I don't get how these studios are able to do so much and they have these amazing IPs, but they have no clue what to do with them. Honestly, have no clue. How do you have Transformers, a big IP, but you have no idea what to really do with it? You know, it's every time it's always like a reboot. After Michael Bay, everything is just nothing but like a reboot, a soft reboot, a semi reboot. I'm like, why? It doesn't work. We're already 3 movies in, 2 live actions, one that was completely CG. It doesn't work. Hopefully, I'm hoping as a fan and as a moviegoer that Transformers with GI Joe, whenever it gets announced, if we even make it that far, that's the next project they're working on. I hope it's good, honestly, because with Transformers one, they spent so much money on Chris Hemsworth with Scarlett Johansson. These are Avengers. These are people that work at Marvel. You know how much it costs to get one of these characters voiced by these actors or actresses? It's a lot of money. You're spending over easily. This is somebody cheap. I'm telling you because I know this. Some actors literally can charge you over 60 to 80,000 just for one person. Now that's just somebody basic. That's not even somebody up there. You get what I'm saying? If you want to have like Chris Hemsworth, he has to cost over 100,000 just to have him, especially with the movie, and you have to give him royalties and whatnot and stuff like that. It's very expensive. Now, if you're gonna have 3 people that are like that from the Avengers, you know how much that adds up to? It's money. You're spending money. What they need to do is just bring in average voice actors, people that are good, and just put out content that's on the low and do what you can with it and see what works because I'm sure there's so much talent out there. Again, Hasbro and Paramount trying to do the whole Marvel formula like DC. It doesn't work. You don't need actors and actresses that are from Disney and Marvel. Oh, because they're the Avengers. Oh, they voice, they play the Avengers. No, you don't need that. You're just spending more money. It's costing you much more to put out that product, and you're in the end not even sure if you're going to gain it back. But this whole situation, it's kind of concerning. What's going to happen to Transformers? We don't know. For sure they're going to continue with the toys and stuff, the merchandise. But when it comes to the cinematic universe and films, that's the part that everybody's right now concerned about. I'm a fan and I'm concerned about it too. I like Transformers. But I knew since they announced Transformers 1, I was like, I'm not gonna be watching it. I already knew because again, another reboot. They had announced, oh, it's supposed to be its own thing, and people were confused. They're like, does it connect into the last movie? Is it a live action? Nobody knew. Everything was up in the air, so people were confused, and I was like, let's see what comes from it. So I don't know. This is just something that I wanted to talk about real quick, and everybody's talking about this right now. The internet has been hot this whole weekend just talking about this. And this is going to continue. This is a big topic that a lot of people are going to be talking about and continue just because it's that much, like of attention and people are just interested in stuff like that. So you can drop your comments. I'm going to take a few minutes real quick before I get going. And, I just want to give some shout outs and whatever it is, stuff like that. So, all right. So here we go. Michael Bay was kind of bad with Transformers. He only made 2 good movies. All right. I mean, it is what it is, like I said, it's not for everybody, but it is what it is, I guess. All right, I don't think Transformer is the right hands, bro. Like I said, there is a way you can merge G1 and the new stuff. True, yeah, you can. I know for a fact that this is possible. I bet you would love CS. Yeah, for sure. I would definitely love to see that, honestly. There for sure there is. You know, it's just the problem, I guess, with Hollywood and the executives and all these creators and directors is like it's too many feedback. Like too many people are inputting. They're trying to say, let's do this, let's not do that, take this out, and probably they're taking out cool stuff, and in the end they're putting what we're getting, in the final product. But again, it is what it is. All right, to be honest, Transformers animated was different, not just the aesthetics, but the lore and story. And it was controversial at the time, but it was also liked by people. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people liked it and stuff like that. I probably saw maybe a few episodes, but I barely remember. But it is what it is. So again, we have we have to see what happens. Bumblebee was a great movie, bro. Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. I enjoyed it. I loved that intro of Bumblebee. It was awesome. I wish the whole movie would have been like that. And then the fight scenes that you get with the Decepticons and the Autobots and stuff. That's always a highlight for me. It's like the human part is okay, but I just love to see when these robots just go at it and just fight for no reason, and just who cares? I just want action. That's it. It's just good entertainment, when it all comes down to it and stuff like that. So um let's see. I mean, let's see what really happens, because the way that things are going on right now, it's completely it's wild. Who would have thought that this was going to come out, and this has shocked a lot of fans. The whole community is right now talking about it, and it's just wild. It's really wild. Turning shit kitty only destroys the box office potential. Yes, thank you. Exactly. That's the problem with today. I guess all these movies, instead of being quality and focused on what fans were enjoying back in the days, and of course times change, people change, I guess. I don't know, social media, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, why would you stop the greatness of what Michael Bay was doing with the live action Transformers? People were going, and it's proven by now. We're already 3 movies in and completely different. Bumblebee, completely different. Rise of the Beast, completely different. And of course, we have Transformers 1, completely different. Nothing to do with Michael Bay. And I get it. Michael Bay has been producing these movies, which he's just funding. And then at the end, he gets his money. So he's just chilling right now. So I would do the same thing. But 3 movies without Michael Bay directing them, and they're not working. 3 different directors, it's not working. What's the problem here? See what I'm saying? What's the problem? And then now we're going to be getting that GI Joe crossover. I just hope it's good. Honestly, like I just want to see good entertainment. I really, really want to see good entertainment. I had a dream that the Shockwave Dark of the Moon figure was a precursor to a Driller figure. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean that Shockwave from what do you call it? Dark of the Moon. It's a badass. It's a shame we didn't get that much screen time, but for what we got, it was awesome. It really was. And honestly, just what Michael Bay gave us in general with Transformers, it was fun. It was entertaining. That's all I care about. I don't care, like, like a lot of people are like, oh, it's too much with the military and this and that. You need that. That's interesting with it. And I'm sure we're gonna be seeing more with the GI Joe crossover. But let's see what happens. But yeah, this is just something I wanted to talk about with y'all. And it's just especially for all the Transformer fans, in the community and stuff like that. I'm a fan of this amazing Transformer community. I collect also, so what is this gonna shift into? We don't know. We have no idea. Um, but I don't think this is the end for the Transformers live actions. This is just probably a little bump in the road right now, and hopefully they get their act together and listen to the fans like they did with Sonic 3, and just fix it and work with it. But yeah, that's my time for today. Just wanted to talk about that real quick. I want to thank y'all for watching. One thing before I do go, I am going to be doing a random giveaway this week. Just because we're almost at that mark, like I've been saying for a while. We're like, I think, like 5 subscribers away from 1,500 for that giveaway. So share the video, post it, repost it, all that good stuff. Hit the like for the algorithm and all that stuff. I'm going to be doing one giveaway with that, and I'm working on another giveaway. So, just bear with me as I try to get the prizes. I already have one, so I'll be showing you all and stuff like that. That way, you know, we can get that going and stuff like that. So, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thanks as always. Keep you posted. I will be working on a DC video, and I know some updates have come out and stuff like that. But this is just something different I wanted to talk about today, just to focus with the Transformers community and stuff like that. So you guys stay safe. Check you on the next one, and until next time, thanks for watching again.